gentlemen, it's me again. Hey, I just want to touch base on some things. My last video slash podcast, videocast, whatever you want to call it, I was talking about, Gavin Newsom and some of the anti-ICE protests, which were actually riots, and they kept saying, oh, it's just a peaceful protest. There's nothing going on. It's peaceful. Yeah, there's nothing going on. It's peaceful. That's what they kept saying. And of course, we all knew that they were liars. That's not a war zone, ladies and gentlemen. That's not 4th of July fireworks. That's a peaceful protest to the Democrats. Isn't it interesting that these wicked, evil Democrats can look at that, see that, know that that's going on, and call it a peaceful protest when it benefits them. But if that was a bunch of Trump supporters, conservatives, decent, hard-working Americans with normal hair color, they would be all over it. They'd be trying to stop it. They would demonize it, demonize all of us. But because it's their people, it's just peaceful. Cop cars are burning. People's businesses are burning. They're throwing rocks at people. People are getting run over. People are getting hit. People are getting shot at with rubber bullets. Oh, but it's peaceful. You know, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to do my best to be as nice and as calm as I possibly can. But I can't promise anything, because this nonsense that we're seeing going on right now is so over the top ridiculous. It's got my blood boiling, because it's happening here in the United States of America, my home. And most all of you that are going to watch this is your home. And I certainly hope that you're as angry at all of this nonsense as I am. But we just had this, today is Tuesday, and just a few days ago we had this, when I say we, I wasn't there, but there was this No Kings protest, protesting President Trump, protesting ICE, protesting what he's doing. Let me sum this up in just a moment, and then I'm going to try to break this down. That protest, the No Kings protest, was one of the dumbest, most ignorant, stupid, foolish, idiotic protests ever in the history of humanity. Okay, so let me try to break this down just a little bit. No Kings protest. As if we have a king in the United States of America. We kicked the king's butt, his army, and drove him out of our nation, 1770 something? All the way back 1776. And we haven't had one since. And these ignorant, foolish people that think that Trump is acting like a king, the mere fact that you were able to have these protests against him proves he is not a king, and we still don't have one. Oh, and here, just so you know, after all those protests, all the sign waving, all the shouting, and all the silliness, we woke up the next morning and Trump was still our president. Go figure. But let me go even further. So, have this No Kings protest again. We didn't have it. We haven't had a king since 1776. Yeah, and we still don't have a king. The absolute absurdity and foolishness of those out there protesting. And I'm not against protests. Please protest. And even on this one, all of you who protested in the No Kings, you know what? Keep it up. Keep going, because it's showing everyone, especially in the United States, in our own communities, who you are. And it gives us, like me, the opportunity to, one, know who you are, and then make my choice on whether or not I want to rub shoulders with you, or have anything to do with you, or frequent your businesses, which I don't. And there's a lot of people that maybe they're not airing it all over social media, but have said the exact same things. Well, now I know where I'm not going. Now I know where I'm not going to spend my money. Now I know who I'm not going to partner with. I even saw here locally some of these so-called wannabe, self-proclaimed community leaders. They don't lead me. They're not in any way my leadership. They do not represent me. They don't represent my family. They don't represent anything that I'm about. Why? Because, see, that whole idea was because President Trump, is merely trying to uphold the law. That's all he's doing. That's all these ICE agents are doing. Upholding the law. And here's something, and I hate to get into this because there's a lot of people that I know that this affects directly, that I personally know these people, and this directly affects them. But the reality of it is, a lot of people are getting so upset that ICE is rounding up people that have been here, they're hard workers, they're family people. I was reading, and I've read several articles on this where people were upset because somebody has been here in this country for 20 years. Another one was closer to 15 years. One was close to 30 years. ICE comes and takes them away and deports them. One guy had 20 years to become legal. Another person had 15 years. Another person had 30 years. And I'm hearing this story over and over and over and over again. And we're supposed to feel sorry for people who have been breaking the law in our country for 20, 15, 30 years. If they entered here illegally, that's criminal activity. So when ICE says we're only going after criminals, anybody that's here illegally, by virtue of that, is a criminal. Now please, I am not heartless, ladies and gentlemen. One of the things that bothers me, especially with this No Kings, I was looking at the video of the local No King protest. The video. And I saw people that I recognize and I know in our community. These so-called community leaders. And one of the people that was talking on this video was saying how they're against ICE and they're against these deportation and they're against these people being rounded up and deported and taken away. Some of them are people of the community, hard workers. Like we're supposed to shed a tear for that. What made me angry about this, now listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, what made me angry about that was that these people that were willing to go out there and waste time at a No Kings protest, and part of it was protesting ICE, protesting the deportation of people that are here illegally, protesting Trump's decision and holding up the rule of law here in America. Why? Listen, I'm going to say this to you so-called community leaders and those of you who are out there waving flags and saying, No Kings. Where were you a year ago, 2 years ago? Were you helping these people? Were you trying to help the people that were here become legal? Help them through the process? Did you try to convince them to take care of the paperwork? Get an attorney, whatever it takes. Did you do any of that? Now, I know some people have. I know there's organizations out here that have tried or do try and have worked with people doing that. Great. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But protesting. When officers come and snatch up people that have been here illegally, that are engaged in criminal activity especially. Oh, and let me say, no, they're not. Really? Look at those pictures again of the protests in LA over ICE. You tell me those people are not criminals, burning cop cars, destroying buildings, destroying businesses, throwing rocks at people. You don't think they're criminals? It is my hope, it's really my hope, not just there in LA, but everywhere. And they can do this now, to find every one of them. If they're in a illegal status, ship them off completely now. Those that are here legally, put them behind bars for many, many, many years. What a disgusting display. Now, before you go off and say, oh, he's just a racist, I get called that all the time just for having common sense. I don't care where these people are from. It has nothing to do with who they are or where they're from. I have friends and people that I know in Mexico. And when I see them, when I talk to them, they ask me, what is going on down there? What is going on there in California? What is going on in America? Now this is several friends of mine in Mexico, the last time I was there, telling me, we need a president like Donald Trump here in Mexico. We love what he's doing. Do you know the only thing that they get upset with Donald Trump? Well, two things. One, he's not their president. And two, they don't want the troublemakers here sent back to them. That's the truth. They say, please don't send them here. Put them in jail, send them to China, whatever. Just don't send them back here. We don't want them. We see they're troublemakers. We see the news. We see that they're troublemakers. We don't want them here. This is what I'm being told, ladies and gentlemen. Every one of those protesters, whether it was in LA protesting ICE, or if it was the No Kings, they're an embarrassment to the people, the hardworking people in Mexico and here. I have friends here that are just shaking their heads going, what in the world is going on? This is an embarrassment. One gentleman says, this is not my people. My people wouldn't do this. So you can point the finger at me all you want. I'm just pointing out the obvious. Something that most of you that were in the protest, that get their panties in a bunch, don't have the courage or the insight to face. Because you wouldn't have been out there if you did. Instead, what you would have been doing is standing up for the rule of law. Long before these protests started. Long before ICE started rounding people up. Even long before Donald Trump was in office. So don't give me this nonsense. Don't give me this nonsense. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, I don't even want to do business with some of you. Why? Because if you have that, if you lack common sense that much, if you lack heart that much, and if you lack, where is it? Right here. God-loving, country-loving patriotism. If you lack that, I don't want to do business with you. I don't want to see you. I don't want you in my community. I want a strong community that stands together and among other things stands up for the rule of law. So my heart does go out to many who get caught up in the crossfire. Some of you should not be deported. Some of you should be taken down to the immigration office and have the paperwork started. Some of you are a valuable asset to our country, to our community. But what I am sad is that you're getting caught up in the crossfire. But there's nothing anybody can really do about it on the grand scale of things, because you should be legal. Here's another thing about the No Kings protest. Most of the people getting caught up in that No Kings protest are like anti-billionaire. You know, they're more socialist minded. They're anti-capitalist and all of that. They don't like Elon Musk. They don't like what he does. They don't like Tesla. They don't like any of these billionaires, people that made money through capitalism. And yet they're out there, No Kings, supporting and following the billionaire heiress of Walmart. She's the one that paid. I'm sorry, this is just too funny. You guys that were out there, no kings, no kings. You made me laugh because you followed, well, maybe not a king, but certainly somebody who likes to think of themselves as a queen, a billionaire heiress. It's so funny. But here it says, there's this article that says Walmart distances itself from heiress ad rallying anti-Trump protests. So the heiress, the Walmart heiress, who's a billionaire, runs these ads for this No Kings protest and rallies. And now Walmart's going, wait a minute, we're not part of that. She is on her own. I don't want to read this whole article, I just want to read this little piece here real quick. It says, billionaire Walmart heiress Christy Walton faced backlash from the White House and avoidance by Walmart itself after she bought an ad appearing to call Americans across the country to protest against Donald Trump. Walton, one of the richest women in America, bought a full-page ad in the New York Times declaring "No Kings," referring to the No Kings organization that is coordinating hundreds of protests across the country against Trump's administration on the same day as his military parade this weekend. Here's another thing that just cracks me up about these protesters and these people. Remember, common sense. It takes a few brain cells, at least 5, to have some common sense. Everybody was against Trump. I shouldn't say everybody, I certainly wasn't, but so many of you were quick to go out there and protest on that day because it was the very day that President Trump was having this big military birthday bash, not understanding that it was also the birthday of the U.S. Army. And they always planned to do something big anyway. It just so happened to coincide with President Trump's birthday, and they pulled it all together. It was really a birthday celebration of the U.S. Army. So they're out there protesting No Kings on Trump's birthday, completely slapping the face of every U.S. Army veteran. I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed at the foolishness and the stupidity of people out there. I really am. I'm sorry, I'm doing my best trying to be nice, but I can't, because this is absurd. This is absolutely absurd. So here's my suggestion to all of you No King protesters. Do it again. Please do it again. Get your little signs out. Get out there on the street in 110-degree weather. Wave your sign. Blow your horns. Yell your whatever you're going to do. Because if it happens again, see, I happen to be out of town, but if it happens again, at least here, I'm going to make sure I go down there. I'm going to walk among the crowd, and I'm going to take pictures of as many people as I possibly can. And then I'm going to make sure that all my friends and all the people that I work with know exactly who you are, so that they can also say, not doing any work with them. This is going to backfire on you guys big time. It already has. Because when we woke up the next morning, and we still had no king, and Donald Trump was still our president. Go protesters! You just showed us who you really are. So complain, whine, all you want. It just shows the world. It shows us here in our own community who you are. And it tells us, hey, that's not the one I want to do business with. Next, I'll go find somebody who loves our community, loves America, loves common sense, certainly loves our God, and wants this nation to flourish and live by the rule of law. I'll work with them. I'll work with them. I don't care who they are, I'll work with them. But all you protesters protesting foolishness and something that doesn't even exist, no kings. No duh. God bless you all.